Sups? We're back. Taste is here, casting the longest series ever.
Yeah. Pretty fairly certain that that's the longest series ever.
I've never seen it. I don't think we've ever had a series that's been longer than that. To put this into perspective, guys, we've now been here for 3 hours and casted 5 games of StarCraft 2.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So
pretty cray-cray.
Next, we get to see GuMiho, who has to be exhausted, go up against Curious.
I know, right? He's like, okay, I won. Now I just have to beat another Zerg in a best of 3.
Curious should go for long games. Even though GuMiho's good at it, what if you just go for long games and eventually GuMiho's arm falls off or something?
We're giving GuMiho a few minutes before we throw him right in this game. Obviously, going to need a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
That series was incredible.
It was. It was absolute madness.
And
it was crazy.
So neck and neck, every single game. That was probably one of the best series we've ever casted. Easily the longest series we've ever casted.
We've had a lot of those series this year.
It's the longest series.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could talk about it on Code A, buddy, all right?
Yeah.
This is Taste time.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that could have been done differently, but in a situation like that, it's so impossibly hard. Like, we didn't even think of the burrow thing. Didn't think of the swipe thing until the very end.
He could have burrowed his army, perhaps right underneath that.
He could have done the swipe thing like many times, running the Ultra Scup, getting a swipe, while transfusing and running away, because eventually you'll kill all that, because you'll regain all your health as Zerg.
The tragedy of it, too, is that had he actually gotten just even one drone to live, Zerg should have won.
He would have won.
He had too many spine crawlers.
Yeah.
He had way too many spine crawlers. And that's
a wild. Oh my God, the difference between going up and going down, man. It's what good matches.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, here we are.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to go on that date.
Well, at least you have GuMiho, man.
At least I got GuMiho, yeah.
And he's way hotter than anyone you were going on a date with.
Probably. He's pretty snazzy. Now we got Curious against GuMiho. I'm going to just predict that I think GuMiho loses based off fatigue.
I'm going to predict he wins because, like, if you went through that,
you want this, like,
yeah, no, you want. You're not screwing around. Like, at this point, he probably feels like he's already advanced.
Do you think that MC is going to beat Lucira? Because I think he could. I mean, that's going to be a really tiring series.
Oh my God, I know.
It's funny because Lucira wants to go. He likes the late game, but I mean, GuMiho's like, no, bro. We're going for like 50 minutes. I mean, I've got this thing mapped out that far.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't know. It's so hard to actually accurately predict how much long series like that actually affects your mentality and how tired you are. Like, if it was Beyond, I'd be like, no, Beyond's fine. This is like what he wants. He wants every game to be that long. Whereas,
Early Young or somebody like that.
Yeah, like a super long game player. But I don't know, man.
I don't know, dude.
I guess we'll just see. To switch things up and make things more interesting, our first map is going to be Icarus, so it's not going to be a long-ass game like we've been having. Icarus is a quick map.
Well, let's see what GuMiho has in store for us on this. I guarantee you one thing, though. MC and Curious are very happy with a game series that long and exhausting and draining.
I would imagine.
I mean, look, the hardest StarCraft you could ever, or the point in a StarCraft game you can ever get to, is the moment where you're maybe only each have a few workers. You're having to think on your own. Every game is different because even the position of one building can change stuff.
Yeah.
The makeup of how many orbitals you got versus planetars, everything. That's when you're really having to think on your feet. You're not in a routine, and we saw that. I mean, we saw Lucira clearly should have at least just kept one drone away.
Dude, there were so many tiny things. Like, for instance, remember that Broodlord that he barely didn't transfuse?
Yeah.
Like, the transfusion went off, but the Broodlord died before it actually connected.
The transfusion actually started, and it did not connect.
Like, if that had connected, then he wins that game too. There's like a billion things that led up to that. Like,
and
for GuMiho as well, like, it could have been a much more overwhelming victory in several locations.
I feel like GuMiho made a lot more good decisions, though, in that end game. I did love when Lucira brought up the spine crawlers to block off the expansions. That was smart. And we saw him systematically eliminating command centers, or orbitals, I should say, until there wasn't any left, which should have put him in a checkmating position. But yeah, he gunned down that Broodlord.
No. Wow.
Wowzers.
Yeah, for real. Okay. So
hopefully he's going to be ready.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be ready pretty soon here. I'm ready to cast.
I'm kind of done.
Oh, by the way,
right
one
now.
other thing I did want to mention. About excuse me, the Curious MC is saying that they're happy about what just happened. In one way, I can see this being upsetting because when you have to wait like 2.5 hours for a series to be done, you're going to be much more tired watching and sitting in a chair.
That is
Whereas
true.
the other players are still going to be completely at the top of their senses. Look, it takes a lot of stamina, but
well, you know, I guess that kind of depends on the player. I think in some cases, some players.
But I could see that affecting a lot of players as well, where you're like, I didn't want to sit. Like I was supposed to have my match an hour and a half ago. You know, like I was ready to be.
If I'm curious, I like my situation here. I'm like, good. He just played that insane game. Now he has to start over with another TVZ with against somebody. That person being curious, having a different play style. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, thank God for Hot 6, our sponsor.
Yes. Thank God. I should have grabbed one of those actually on the break.
You should have. It's going to keep me going.
Yeah. On the fumes of pure energy, Artosis will stay alive.
Yes.
Man. By the way, you know, the weather actually in Seoul has been getting a lot nicer.
This week has been nice. A lot warmer than last week. Last week it was painful.
Last week was like a weather that humans are not actually capable of surviving in.
Like deep space. Maybe Mutalisks can fly through, but you notice the humans are always in the battle cruisers.
I never understood that when you could see Mutalisks flying on a space platform.
Why not?
That really bothered me.
What? They have wings. This guy.
No, the weather's been getting a lot nicer though out here. It gets really cold in Seoul. And then in the summer it gets really hot. There's a reason why everybody plays video games out here. So that's going to be good. And what are your plans, actually, for Valentine's Day?
Well, I was going to go and have a nice quiet night at home. Yeah. I guess I'm still going to be doing that.
Yeah.
So I might be a bit more tired.
Yeah. Spend some time with the wife and the baby.
Yeah. Well, the baby's definitely asleep, but...
Have some wine with the baby.
Yeah.
All right, GuMiho, I'm ready for us to get in this game.
Yeah.
So I think we'll probably have that pretty soon. I hope. Man, that's serious, though. Jesus.
Yeah. Not likely to see another one like that for an extremely long amount of time. There's so few games that ever go that far. It's such a tiny percentage.
Well, think about that entire series. I mean, how long was game number 2? That went to like 45 minutes or something like that, correct?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
That was an over 2-hour series.
Yeah. It's like you just get those two kinds of players, you put them together, and that's what happens in these epic endgames.
You see that GuMiho has mapped out how to beat this heavy ultralist strategy, and that's a scary thing because, like, let's say you hit someone like, well, Sniper's out now, but a lot of Zergs recently have been using this type of strategy, which is really great for crushing attacks, but not so good for attacking in. So, GuMiho is someone that definitely could go pretty far, especially the more Zergs we have that like that strategy over some of the others.
Well, it seems like that Zerg strat is really to make it impossible to push you at a very specific point in time in the game. And we've seen with other Terran players, they haven't quite caught on to that yet, so they just attack anyways because that's what feels natural for them. Excuse me. I ate my meal pretty fast on that break. But then, you can see that somebody like GuMiho has identified that. He's like, okay, well, obviously I can't kill you, so I'm going to sit back and defend.
There's actually this funny thing that has been like instilled in StarCraft 2 Terran brains, a lot of them, like the vast majority of professional and semi-professional players have gained so much success off of attacking all the time. That a lot of them don't realize that sometimes you have to slow it down and play completely defensively.
There's definitely moments in StarCraft 2 where you actually are like, no, just
I can't tell you how often I've played Terrans where it's like I'm pure defense and they just keep dropping and eventually who's like, Imba, like Protoss, too strong. It's like, no, dude, make more command centers. I'm making cannons and
sitting in your army gift wrapped and medevacs and losing it.
Which is what we see sometimes against Zerg that goes for that ultralist style and then crushes that army.
It's so funny playing on the Heart of the Swarm server and listening to people bitch about the game in English.
Oh, yeah. I'm so used to playing on the Korean server
out here for Wings
I can read some of it, how, like, tosses the cheater race and stuff like that, but it's It's
Well,
interesting,
it's so funny
man.
because like I've never been like I never typed like Imba
Yeah.
or like some of them. I'm just like okay GG, and I'm watching this nerd like I'm just watching his rant like come out on my computer screen while I'm like there, probably laughing.
Had anyone float buildings against you yet, or hide pylons?
No, actually, I've been lucky so far.
No, I've hit
because
that
when
a
people
little
start
bit.
to float buildings with me, I actually get up and go down the street and go, you know.
In the future, if you're
Go get,
floating
like,
buildings
a
versus someone,
tea or
land them
something.
and make banshees because he's probably down the street.
I think we're gonna go take a look at a HOTS trailer actually, while we wait for GuMiho to be ready. So we'll throw that up for you guys now.
I am the swarm. Armies will be shattered. Worlds will burn.
Okay, guys, it is time. Finally, GuMiho is fully rested. Had a full night's sleep there. And here we are back again in the morning for GSL Code S.
I've got food in my mouth. Keep talking.
Well, it's Icarus, so this one should be quick. Imagine if this one goes... Imagine an hour game on Icarus. What would that look like, TVZ? I feel like it's impossible.
I think it is impossible.
Yeah, we haven't seen many long games here at all, really. I want to see GuMiho, by the way, play like Marine King did the other day. It was the most beautifully engineered strategy for the map. If Curious makes roaches, I'm going to question my life and the direction it's headed in, watching people make roaches time after time on this map.
Okay, I chewed up my food and swallowed it. Higher toast.
Yay!
Yay!
Here we go,
All right,
Tasteless.
Let's get ready. The game is now good to go. So we're going to get right into this. The winner of this match moves on to the round of 8. The loser goes down to face off against Lucio. All right.
Well,
As I
we
said
don't know
that,
yet.
I just said that, so then it didn't make any sense. In the upper left, we have our Terran player. He is
FX GuMiho.
And in the bottom right, we've got our Zerg player. Can he beat this incredible Terran? He is.
StarTale Curious.
What happens if we end up with a rematch of GuMiho and Lucero? What happens?
I would love it if it went even longer than that last one, to be honest. When we've had games go that long already, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's cast until 3 a.m. Let's just do it.
Yeah, man.
By the way,
I think at this point in time, I'm like, well, we've come too far.
yeah,
We
there's
have
no
to keep
turning
going.
back now,
Yes.
Tasteless.
So you got a proxy?
Well, I hope so. Because if this is just a really fast scout, I'm a bit confused.
And
There's
it
a
is.
possibility he'll just block the hatch. Oh, but he messed that up if that is the case. No, it looks like just short of the minerals needed. But he's going to try to micro to stop that block. GuMiho could have gone straight in there, so that's actually like a...
What? Is that misplaced?
Yeah, I'm pretty damn
That's
sure
misplaced, right?
Wait, let me go look again.
Wait a minute.
You know what? It might be one hex misplaced to the left, possibly, but... you know what?
No.
This is so hard to tell when it's still
Yeah,
morphing.
once it's done, we'll be able to tell much more easily.
Even then, it's pretty hard when you've...
GuMiho was probably going around that like, is that misplaced?
It is misplaced.
It is.
I'm almost so sure.
The fact that you're confident and I'm confident, and I'm hearing how the Koreans are talking in the studio, and I'm like, they were kind of like, oh.
I'm pretty sure, man. Pretty sure.
Or we could all just be collectively wrong, and it's one of these weird optical illusions.
Could be.
It's like the color of the gold minerals offsets the appearance of the hatchery.
Or just, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Strange aspect ratio on our monitors suddenly.
All right, the spawning pool's on the way.
Indeed it is. Of course, the gas as well. Probably just for quick speed.
Yep.
Quick speed is good on this map because you can threaten the front and the rocks, and that makes it kind of annoying for Terran. Not a gigantic deal.
All right. Well, we got the orbitals on the way here. Passive start. Link
Okay, hold
speed
on.
coming down
I'm
here.
going to check now
right,
to see if
let's
that's
check.
actually too far. Okay,
All
hold
right.
on.
Measure it.
I'm gonna,
Yeah, here. Yeah, use your side of your phone on the screen. All right. So that's exactly the distance of one bottom of my phone.
inconclusive results. I think he placed it right. Actually, now that I've looked
Can
at
somebody
it.
let us? Let me check Twitter. Where are people? Is it?
No, I think it's fine. By the way, a roach warren. So now I'm wondering, do I live in a world where it's truly appropriate to go roaches on this map every time, even though it seems like it's never worked?
Well, I get the premise of it. I mean, basically that. You know, there's rocks in the back. Terran isn't quite secure. You could knock it down theoretically, but I feel like what happens is that this is such a rudimentary concept for this map that Terrans are like, oh well, I better prepare for that. And then the Zerg's like, and I got all these roaches for nothing. I thought I was going to surprise you.
Well, I guess best case scenario, you make them over defend.
Sure. No.
Well, it does look like we're going to have reactored Hellions from GuMiho, which could lead towards those roaches actually doing a very good job, because that's what you want the roaches against, is someone going reactored Hellion.
Yeah, sure.
You know, if you had instead gone like a bio-based play like Marine King did, which made just so much sense for this map, then there'd be a lot of trouble right now for him. But we do have a tech lab on the way for GuMiho, and if he starts a Marauder instantly, that would be a really great situation for him.
All right, so the roaches are on the way. They're en route. We do not have a Marauder coming out here just yet.
No, just starting Stim instead, getting his...
And these Hellions are going to insta-die. No, they're not.
Yeah, they turned tail and fled tasteless.
All right, now we have one Marauder on the way, but I mean, is this going to be enough? And is it going to
Well,
be
he's going to have to pull SCVs, and these roaches want to kill SCVs off. Well, let's see. Going after that bunker at first. Force the SCVs to come up now to start targeting them down. Very well done. There you go. A few more SCVs going down right now.
Now, there's a lot of roaches. Remember, I mean, he's just going to get the bunker.
Yep. And
all right. This
couple of Hellions going down, and look at this. Curious, just going with the roach rush.
Yeah.
And here it is working after talking crap on it. That's
well, you know, I mean, the thing is, think about this. GuMiho is like actually going to be so exhausted. Okay, GG. All right.
It's almost like a small tactical wheel for this map, where it's like, well, yeah, if you go reactored Hellion, this is going to be quite good here because you have such a large ramp. Plus, there's multiple locations. But if you go for like a Marine King style build, where you're like, well, why would I need Hellions here? This map is the kind of made for Marine Marauder timing pushes. I feel like, at least.
Oh, I got to agree with you on that one.
But yeah, if you go for that, and suddenly he has a bunch of Marines and Marauders at the top of that ramp, then suddenly Curious spend a bunch of money on roaches that are going to be completely worthless. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what map GuMiho picks. Could be the same map they picked against Lucira.
Yeah, he definitely might go for Aklon. But that might have been a situation against specifically Lucira as well.
That's true.
And it's going to be Cloud Kingdom from GuMiho here.
Okay.
So a different Zerg, a different map. Because remember, Lucira chose this map last time.
Yep, that's
against
absolutely
GuMiho.
correct.
But Curious's style is not the same. So starting the game right away, not wasting any more time, Tasteless.
Again, our map is Cloud Kingdom. Let's see how GuMiho fares. You know, it looks like Curious is very interested in ending the game early on because he realizes the amount of stamina that must have been spent here in that first series. But let's see, GuMiho is a master. If you get him in the late game, his multitasking, his harassment is pretty much impeccable. We'll just have to see. Here in Seoul, Korea, the best StarCraft 2 players in the world reside and compete in the most competitive esports show of all time, the GSL Code S.